and Jean-Charles.
Tony, did you get my email?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have a hat over here for you.
It's not a Wolverine hat, is it?
Absolutely, it is. I'm already thinking about the little note that I'm going to put in it. I've been drafting it, kind of perusing it in my head for days. I'm going to turn you into a Wolverine fan yet before I'm done with you. Notre Dame boy.
Right, you guys. Ready? We are live. Hello, my name is Dani Henderson, spiritualtherapist.com. And in case you hadn't heard, there was the most amazing conference on our planet. It was called the Galactic and Spiritual Informers Connection. It was in Orlando, 21, 22, and 23 of this year, 2022. And some of these beautiful faces are the main headline speakers. I'm going to start with the man with the glasses and the top screen, the very well-known and beloved Alex Collier. Welcome, sir. Introduce yourself and please give us a rundown of your experiences.
I'm Alex, and I have been on the circuit roughly 32 years, give or take a month, and I'm a contactee. And it's been an honor and a privilege to be of service to humanity, whether they wanted me to be or not. And it was an absolute honor and a privilege to meet all of these incredible people and to share the experience of the conference with Dani and everyone else. It was remarkable. And for those of you who didn't make it, you definitely should make the next one because it's remarkable. You will be changed for the better. Unless you're demonic. And then you won't be. You'll be aggravated.
You're going to get properly rattled.
I can't help it. I'm at this point in my life where I just don't, it's just like.
God, this fucking point.
It's so hard to be politically correct. It really is at this point. It's just gotten so stupid.
Well, as you know, this is the right channel for that too. So
you probably have to edit my my introduction.
I love it. Can you tell us what was your main highlight, if any, at the conference, Alex Collier?
It was all of you, and it was the people, and it was also meeting boots on the ground. That was pretty interesting, I have to say. That was very, very interesting. In the courtyard by the fire pit, the whole thing was great. It's been the highlight, one of the top highlights of my entire speaking career, and being acknowledged for all the work and everything that we all go through was very, very special to me. It's not something I'll ever forget. In fact, I just want to thank everybody for this. It's awesome, and it's very special, and I won't let the cats anywhere near it.
Oh, bless you, Alex.
Because they're into everything. So it was great. And like I said earlier offline, I'm now having this a letdown, that's what it is. So I love all of you. Thank you.
Oh, we love you too. We love you too, Alex. You did us proud. You did us so proud. Going to move across the screen, the lady in red, Sherry Band. Welcome, my darling.
Oh, thank you all for having me. What a humbling experience, standing on stage, in the same stage as all of you. It's an honor. I had a wonderful experience. I consider myself to be, an ambassador for children. And so my vision is grand. And being in a place where there's so much support from all of you, of course, but the audience and the countless emails that I still haven't responded to, and the phone calls, and the people that I got to meet up close and in person while I was there, just, it refueled my battery because, all of us have a lot of challenges and we experience setbacks, and then there are times where things propel us forward in such a magnificent way, and all exuberant yet exhausting. And, sometimes you feel that you're at your lowest. And when you come together with a bunch of like-minded people, you feel the love and support. It really fills you back up. And so, I was on a high for a while after that event, just feeling the support and the love of the community, many of which were in Florida, like locals that came. They told me they came to see me speak. I was blown away by that. They said they've been following me, and they said, I followed you here. And I can't even express in words what that means to me, with all of the work that I've put in and the nights that I haven't spent with my family, because I'm trying to build something, incredibly huge. And so it was just gratifying. It was validating. It touched my heart. And I just want to thank all of you for including me. And, it was really life-changing for me.
So beautiful. You were magnificent, honestly. You brought it. I mean, there were so many conversations amongst these beautiful people here. And I mean, I've said a couple of times on different broadcasts that Sherry Divban, what a pocket rocket, what a powerhouse girl. You were up and down that stage. You did not hold back. You were shockingly brilliant, as was everybody. But I just want to say that because I know a lot of people felt the same way about you and your passion for our kids.
Thank you, Danny. Yeah, I said to myself when I was driving there from Palm Beach, I said, you know what? I'm not holding back. I'm not going to worry about offending anybody. I'm going to say my truth, and I don't have to worry about being censored on YouTube. And I did. I literally said things I've never said before in a public platform, let alone in front of 900 people. I still can't believe I said some of that stuff. But you know what? It was authentic and genuine, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
No need to, lady. No need to. You did everyone proud, and certainly yourself and your mum. You really did. You told the truth, and it was great. Proud of you. Thank you. Thank you. Jean-Charles Moyen.
Ah, it's me.
It's you.
Oh my God. What the experience of my life. For many reasons. Because it's the first time I spoken in the front of a lot of people. And it was so emotional, when you take me to a hug and Melanie come to the stage. It was, when I remember that, I have a chills in my arm.
Aww.
It was unbelievable, the much love about the public, about the speaker. I found a real family for all of you. And every day I'm thinking about this experience because it changed my life, and it changed many life. I'm sure about that. And for the next level, Japan or another Orlando, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's I'm grateful to the universe, you, Danny, gathering all of us in this stage. It was like a magical, it was another dimension. It was amazing. Probably one of the best days of my life I live in this stage. And I want to thank you, all of you, and you, Danny, to this gathering about every people, and the love when you sing Bob Marley, and it was, oh my God, it was so happy. And for me, I think during these 3 days, we open a portal in the universe. of disclosure, and nothing can stop that. Nothing. And I love you all, and thank you very much in the deep of my heart.
Oh, Jean-Charles, thank you so much too. I just want to say something that was so beautiful that people that didn't go to the conference won't know. I wanted everybody to have a beautiful walk, a moment. So I had them at the back of the stage where they got mic'd up, and then to pick a piece of music that would touch your own soul and would represent something about you. And then there you were, your music comes on. It was a big, dramatic, beautiful orchestral piece. And you walk up, and then you have time to look and connect to every single person as much as you can. And you were so full of emotion. And then when you came up on stage and you stood and you couldn't speak, you were so emotional and so feeling the moment, and we're all crying, and it was just so beautiful. And I'm sitting next to Alex, and Alex says to me, he needs a hug. I'm like, I know. So then I went up on stage and I just stood behind you and just wrapped my arm around you and just held you, just to try and steady you a little bit. And then I'm peeping around the corner of your shoulder and I'm calling your wife on stage. So then your wife comes on stage, Melanie, and he is there to support you. And then after it was all done, you said to me, Danny, it was so emotional. And then you come on stage and you make it worse.
And you know what? When I post the picture when you hug me, and I was, I'm crying all of tears of my body. My parents send me an email, and I'm crying again. He tell me,
you are such a darling. You are such
I'm so proud of you, my son. I'm so proud of you, my son.
Oh. Oh. Yeah. Well, you waited a long time, my darling. You waited a long time to stand on a stage with other people who've been through terrible things.
Because my parents know what's the risk to expose my life in the front of people for the first time of my life. So he tell me, you are very courageous, my son, and I'm very grateful that you be my son, and I say I'm very grateful you be my dad and my mom.
Oh.
Sorry, huh?
Don't ever stop being you, darling, please. Don't ever stop being you. And you know, the experiences, like I was saying about Tony earlier, I was on with Dr. Christiane Northrup, and we were talking about Tony, and I was saying, you know, well, I've made up this thing now. I need a Rod Riggs. A Rod Riggs is basically a hug, because that man is just the biggest hugger. Everywhere you look, he's hugging someone. And his experiences, they didn't break his soul. They didn't kill him. They could have done. He could have gone a different route, but he didn't. And with you, similar. You've been through horrors beyond horrors. You've seen terrible things that a lot of people will never recover from. And yet you are so full of love and emotion. And it's another reason why we need to disclose the humanity in all of us with the things that some of us have experienced, and yet show that love still remains in us. Isn't that just so beautiful? You sweetheart, you beautiful man. You're also beautiful. Elena Danan, before I get you to say anything, I'm just going to tell everyone, I'm going to drop you straight in it, okay? These guys are the kinds of calls I get from my friend Elena Danan, who is by far probably the cool. Can I say? Am I allowed to say?
Yes.
Okay. I should have checked earlier, but one of the put you on the spot. Okay, so she's the coolest friend I've got, right? She's so cool. From Alex and Tony and John Charles and Sherry. Anyway, and Asher and Keta. So she texts me today and she said, looking forward to seeing you later. I was on the Altian mothership last night. I'm like, of course you were. I have to go. I'm going to Neptune. And I'm like, hey, permission to come aboard, sir. Please, sir. Like, anyway, I've been wish you enough. A little bit my darling. Off you pop, love. You're on.
Ah, Danny, you know how to throw a party. Well, something happened during these days, these 3 days of conference in Orlando. Energy changed, something shifted, and it was okay. All our lives, for each of us, our lives changed. I'm still not back where I was before, and it's fine. Why would I want, upward and onwards, it was also in the audience. It was there has been so many testimonies of people saying that their life changed as well. Something happened, and it was the land, the sky, everything around, because we awakened something. And I know Ket Zasha is going to talk about this. Something awakened under the land and made a link with the sky. We all did it. We all did it when we all raised hands and said Akuria Mate with Ket Zasha. Something awakened. But a sleeping giant awakened under our feet. But not only. The sleeping giant in every one of us. We awakened. Something, a seed, just sprouted, something happened. And this, everyone who has experienced that, who were there, they can testify. And there was nearly 1,000 people. Things have changed. It revealed everyone's selves in many different ways. And I would like to mention something Tony Rodriguez said to me. Just after the conference, I was emotional leaving on the plane, and I was texting with Tony. He said he was still didn't know where he was as well. And he said to me, we didn't know how powerful we were until we all met. This, to me, explains everything. That's it. So I don't know what else to say.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, my darling. Tony Rodriguez, you big hugger. How are you, darling?
I didn't know I was getting such a reputation for hugging people. I was just hugging them back. It changed my life for sure. If we're talking about the conference, it was the same exact experience for me. My story is much different than the other speakers, obviously. And I would say this, that firstly, when I was talking on stage, all of that was improv. It was somebody else. It was somebody else talking through me. I didn't rehearse or think of any of that before, and it just came out of me. I was inspired by the energy in the room, which was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. But I want to say this about my experiences, my entire life, and I don't want to be the one that needs a tissue here. So we're not going to cry all the time, but yeah, I don't want to do that. See, we've all been everybody in this call and the others that couldn't make it have all been much closer since the conference, for one thing, and have begun working together. Like I really feel like there is like I found a family for that. But I want to say that in my life, because of what I went through and how I had to process it, and the things I went through, my entire life has been lived under a philosophy of defense, where I've had to defend myself emotionally, mentally, everything, spiritually. I've always learned to defend myself because it was about just surviving what I went through. And after the conference, I feel like I've been given the ability to be on the offense, and my life has changed in that regard. So I'm working with Sherry. We are cooking up some things about what she's doing for the kids. Let's face it, right now is the best time for what she's doing. The kids are absolutely under fire, and for us to come up with an alternative, you know, maybe not a cure, but an alternative for people that are raising their kids. That's what we do in life. And it's one of the most important things we can do is provide something for our children. And it all fell in place. I mean, Chris O'Connor was a big hand in it with me personally, but I feel like my life's purpose has gone into a offensive mode and drawing on the things that I experienced and what I've learned as, you know, come into bear. So I don't want to say, I can't say a whole lot until there's a little more that's going on. I'll be trust me, when it gets up and running, we're going to be loud and proud and let everybody know. But the conference changed my life in that way, very much so. And I want to say that Quetzal Shah at the dinner, the speaker's dinner, I put a little post on Facebook. That was one of the most beautiful moments of my life. I think we were all choking up at the table with what he said. And when he went off, after we were doing toasts in the dinner, and just to sit at that table and experience that was one of the most beautiful things ever. And I learned very much things, you know, there's so much overlap between all of us. That's the other thing, is there's so much overlap that we never knew. Jean-Charles, you know, we'll get to that later. You know, like there's going to be books and interviews and things about the things that we learned that we didn't really realize. And like you said, Alex, boots on the ground around the fire pit, there was a lot of weirdness there. And there were two guys that, you know, I don't want to speculate and go into start a rumor mill, but there was a lot going on. It was not your regular conference. I've done conferences for some time now, and I've been public for 6 years or so talking about my experiences. And this was by far and away nothing like anything else that I've ever done, not even close. And not that I've been to some shabby get-togethers, but this was something completely different. And it's when we all got together. I think we're all part of a team, and we just didn't realize it until we got together and saw that what we are. And you know, I really feel like things have changed, and we all say the same thing. Like, I'm coming home and trying to unpack. My life isn't bad, but I don't. It's like a shoe touch. My life is a shoe size too small right now. After what we did, so I feel like I need a new set of shoes. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I was just tickled to death, and like I said, the energy of the whole thing. And Danny, you made it sound like, yeah, I'm going to go to England and get all my stuff, and I'll get a hold of you guys. I knew that you would need a while to decompress. I came home and was exhausted myself. So there's a lot of energy that was spent with everybody. And let's face it, hugging all those people, hugging a lot of people can take it out of you. So
Definitely.
I didn't know. Next time I'll bring a clicker and keep track of who I'm hugging. I think I hugged upwards of 1,000 people, 1,000 hugs at least. And so I will try to outdo myself for sure next time.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Tony. That's so lovely. I'm going to come to Asha and Quetzal Shah. Welcome. ¿Cómo estás? Oh. Wait, unmute, darling. Unmute. ¿Cómo estás, mi amigo? Ajá. ¿Cómo estás?
No, pues feliz de nuevamente reencontrarme a todos estos hermanos extraterrestres.
Well, he's feeling really happy to once again be able to meet all his brothers and sisters extraterrestrial.
Imaginen el camino que ha pasado, el tiempo que ha pasado para habernos encontrado en esta conferencia.
He's imagining the path that we've all been on to find one another at this conference.
¿Cuántos milenios han pasado para haber encarnado hoy en este cuerpo?
How many millennia have passed for us to be incarnated in these bodies?
Y finalmente encontrar a la tribu.
And finally to find the tribe.
Y esto es lo que pasó.
And that's what happened.
La tribu del sol y el portal que se activó gracias a todos los participantes.
The tribe of the sun and the portal that was activated. Thank you to all the participants in that.
Ha sido un gran portal Dani, que tú has sido la flecha de la ruta para que esto se active.
Danny, you were the arrow that pointed us in the right direction and instrumental, not exactly his words, but in opening that portal.
Todos nuestros guías, nuestros guardianes estuvieron presentes.
All our guardians and guides were present.
Las naves que estuvieron presentes
The ships were present
afuera del hotel
outside the hotel.
es algo magnífico.
It's something magnificent.
Lo que se activó, se abrió
It activated, it opened
un ensueño,
like a dream.
se activó un gran anciano,
A great elder, it activated a great elder
que ha esperado este momento,
that is awakening in this
con
moment
esos corazones abiertos,
with our hearts open,
con ese amor que se generó
with the love that we generated,
con todos los participantes.
with all the participants.
Ha sido increíble. Para mí ha sido una fiesta constante
It was incredible. For me, it was a constant party.
y quiero pedir una disculpa pública
But I want to give a public apology.
porque no estaba planeado hacer la bendición.
He didn't plan to do all those blessings.
¿No? Y bueno, todo empezó, todo surgió, se dio, y yo simplemente estoy muy agradecido con sus espíritus y con sus corazones.
It all just happened. The spirits guided him, and he's just simply grateful for your hearts. And yeah,
Porque esta fiesta está comenzando
the party is starting. This party is starting.
y tenemos que seguir esta fiesta galáctica.
And we need to follow this galactic party.
Los maestros están felices
The teachers, the masters are happy
por todo esto que está pasando.
for everything that's happened.
Y quiero agradecerles a todos ustedes
He wants to say thank you to all of you
por compartir,
to share, for sharing.
aunque no hablamos,
And even though we didn't talk,
nuestro espíritu está tocado.
our spirits touched.
Los amo.
I love you all.
Gracias, Quetzal, gracias.
Thank
We are
you.
going to come into the portal and the opening and the beautiful mantra. We're not going to miss anything. We'll come back to that in a moment. And first, let us introduce our beautiful brother, Chris O'Connor, from a hotel in Thailand. How are you, Angel?
Oh, I'm wonderful and beautiful. So happy to be here with everyone today.
So what time is it right there in Thailand, and what are you doing there?
Well, it's about, I don't know, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, well, 5:18, on the day before it is for everybody else there here in the screen. So we're a day ahead. So yeah, I came here immediately after the conference, actually. A couple of days. I stopped home, moved everything from one house to another, and then immediately came here. I haven't even stayed in that new house yet, so it's still sitting there. But yeah, I came here to work with some people here in Thailand, in 2 or 3 different provinces, working with a lady named Supawang Green. And she has a foundation here. It's called Innocent Perception Foundation. In fact, that's where I'm at now. This room is the honored guests room. So it's very kind of them. And today we're actually doing a group meditation with over 100 people. And they started showing up yesterday. So they're sleeping in the floor, in the hallways, they're everywhere, you know. So like, to me, to have this much space, I feel really bad, but they've insisted. You know, they're very giving, loving people. So that's what we're doing. I was able to work with, you know, a couple of 100 people so far with the Dean's device and helping people understand how to use it and just share, you know, some I can't help but say, wisdom, I guess, just some information that I've been gifted and given, and through my experiences with the SSP, they're incredibly open here. They also see the need for change, and they're on board with us. They're absolutely with us. So it's an honor to be here.
That's beautiful. Yeah, you're so lucky and loved. And at the conference, Chris, you just gave completely selflessly. Not only did you buy full price tickets for people to give to people that didn't have the funds to have them. I know you're very humble and don't want me to say that, but sorry, too bad, so sad. It's true. And you also refused to take a speaker fee. I know that's very private, but this is the kind of man you are. And you brought your own bloody huge tent, which you gave away after the conference because you're a giver, and you did healings and you let people try the device, and people were lining up around the corner and down the road, the same as they were for Keshe Shah when he was giving his blessings. You were astounding. Everybody was. But tell us a little bit more about your experience and how you felt about everything.
Well, it was pretty overwhelming at moments, in a very positive way. Like everyone has said, there's a connection, online when we're, Zooming, or we're speaking even over the phone. There's a connection with everyone here. But when we were there, it was as if we came together, pieces of a puzzle of a family that had come together, and then suddenly it's just like this, explosion, some sort of chemical reaction, when all these elements are brought together, and suddenly they create something bigger and more beautiful. And that's what it was like, and I've been retrieving a lot of memories since then. They're mostly not quite appropriate yet to share, because I have to put them together more accurately. But Jean-Charles, when I first saw you some months ago, I instantly knew. I said, I know this man. I've seen him. He was somewhere out there. I have seen him. And I said, I am not going to say anything. I'm like, I need that confirmation. So I'm like, I'm not going to say anything at all. And then we were sitting at dinner, and you leaned over and said, I wanted to tell you something, that I remember you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. I'm right. And so it's just moments like that where, we know the truth, and we know our truth, and we follow our true guidance and guides. But sometimes we need that confirmation. And so this conference was so much confirmation, giving us and allowing us the opportunity for a more firm foundation, so that we can stand up and be more honorable and share more with people, so that disclosure has a firm foundation. And I'm really grateful for that support.
It was beautiful. Your shocking yet brilliant presentation, where we could see the way that you were age progressed from a baby to an adult, the way that the graphicness of that torturous being drowned and being injected, and it was startling, shocking, yet we needed to see some of the operations off planet that the Earth militaries and the off-planet militaries do on real human beings, on real soldiers. And I just honor you so much for being brave enough to share what you did. Likewise, Tony, and Jean-Charles, everybody. Now I'm going to take my foot off the gas here, guys, and I'm just going to hand over to you. I don't need to drive this. We've done the introductions. Can we just free fall share what you want? Because there was just so much that happened that was so beautiful. Let's share it all. Share it all.
You're asking a group of humble people to all speak at once. So
see how that doesn't work?
It doesn't work. You got to get us going, Danny.
All right.
Sherry, how much time do you have? Or do you want to go first?
I have about 10 minutes.
Why don't you go first?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, tell us about what you're doing today. Tell us about the benefit.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. I am hosting a very big fundraiser this evening on my channel, live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I don't know when this is going up, Danny, but we are humbly asking for help. You know, sometimes I'm stubborn, and I mentioned that in my speech. And I don't like to ask people for money because I feel like this should just be, you know, we shouldn't have to ask for money to do something for the children. But this reality that we find ourselves in still requires funding for the things that I am trying to accomplish. And so we are trying to raise as much money as we can this evening, of course, but into the future to support our efforts. And so we are putting a fundraiser on this evening. Tony will be coming on as a special guest. We have some children coming on that are Aramis students, and some parents, the mentors, myself, of course, and the host, Carly and Julia, who are my partners in Australia. We'll be doing live Q&As to answer questions from the audience. We'll be giving away lots of really great prizes. To those that donate, they'll be entered in an opportunity to win some really cool prizes that some amazing people have put together and helped me put together, you know, some incentive if the children weren't, you know, enough. And so we humbly ask, any amount is helpful, and 100% of the proceeds will go to continued animation. We have 14 children's videos out, and we're about to release the 15th. We have almost 7 books published. It keeps our staff paid so that they can help continue the efforts, the website, legal fees, mentors, and of course our goal to open the first in-person center in West Palm Beach, which is why I moved my whole family here to begin with. And it will be the first of hundreds to come. And Tony, you know, God, I love you, Tony. You're like my brother. I know you. We know each other from another life. I know it. And I'm so grateful to have you in my life. And this conference brought us together. I don't want to cry. Stop it. I need a tissue, Alex. Thank you. You know, like, oh, but all of you, I mean, just even your, I could see the energy from all of you and your support. And I just want to say how grateful I am to all of you. I feel you. I see you. I feel your support. And that means the world to me. And so if any of you can join us tonight at 8 p.m. or it would mean the world to me. So thank you, Alex, for bringing that up.
No worries.
I just want to say that I feel the same way. Like we get along, we immediately in the first 5 minutes of talking got along. Like some people you can speak to freely and easily, and some people you never can. And in the first few minutes, I sat down next to you, and it felt like I've known you for thousands of years. And it was easy. It's just easy to talk about stuff. The other thing is that our lives' paths are going in the same direction. So me, in one regard, an opportunity came up and I took it. And then you too with the kids. I feel it's one of the most important things that we can think about right now is because like, and I even said it on stage, but you know, before I ever saw it, you were on Sunday, I was on Saturday, so I had no idea what your presentation was based on. And I said it on stage. I said, look, the trend is going down. School keeps getting worse and worse over time. The experience for children coming up, the knowledge that they're getting from public school, if the trend continues, they're not going to have an education at all in the future. It's getting worse. Something has to be done. I even said it on stage. I said, for the love of God, please, somebody do something. And then you talked about it the next day, and that's exactly what you're doing. So I have to be real reserved. You know what I mean? Like there's legalities going on that I'm working on right now. I'm on the basis of starting something, and but there's real progress being made. And what you're doing, this fundraiser and the Aramis schools is the first of a few bricks of what's going to be a huge, you know, what's the word? Not a foundation, but a huge, I'm a lost word. Anyhow, there's going to be a huge this is the foundation of something that's very big, that's going to be an alternative for kids moving forward. And it's going to be school hasn't moved in technology very much. Let's face it, they're doing pencil and books, and it's been like that for hundreds of years. Like the technology is there for kids to have a much better experience, and we're going to get that going in that direction. I'm very excited about what's going to happen. So without being wordy,
we'll talk about it more tonight, Tony. Don't say too much.
Yep.
You know, and I do want to say one quick thing before I go. I did dedicate my speech to my daughter Aramis because I love her dearly, and I just want to say I have 2 other children and I love them equally as much. And I hope that all the efforts that I put in to everything that I do, to honor them and respect them and to cherish them and guide them, they grow up one day and they look back and they see all of this, and I just I want them to be proud of me. And I hope all the children in the world are proud of all of our efforts, not just mine, because that's what this is about. And so thank you to all of you for supporting what it is that I'm doing. I really appreciate it.
Well,
I'm gonna say portal opening. Come on, who's gonna go there? Kuriya Mate. I can't wait. Come on.
I would just like to say, I would just like to inject a little comment since I didn't get to say my bit. Is that okay? Before we get to Korea Mate, because that's going to be huge. But I just want to say how honored I was to be on stage with all of you. Feel very moved by the experience, and I'm new on the circuit, as is Ketsa Shah. I mean, we've both been doing our work for something like 30 years, but this was the first time being in front of such a large audience, and you all made it look so easy. So thank you for that. And I kind of feel like I'm on a fast-moving train right now after the conference, very activated. And as someone said, I feel like my life purpose is on track in a way that it hasn't been for a very long time. So I'm grateful for that awakening. There was all kinds of awakenings that happened at the conference, and we're going to get to the big awakening that happened with the portal, but that was a personal awakening that I'm very grateful for. So thank you.
I would like to comment on the project of the association between Tony and Sherry. This project is one of the changes in the world that this conference has generated, and it's not the only one, and that's just the start of it. Tony and Sherry maybe wouldn't have connected like this if they hadn't met at this conference with amazing energies, and that's, thank you, Danny, for that. Just want to say that.
And it was all that and a bag of chips.
Yes.
It was. Our beautiful Sherry is heading out. She's just letting me know she's heading out, guys.
I want to ask Alex, because you said you're not going to do a live presentation, but can we get you to Zoom on the next one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You made it look easy, and you'll definitely be missed in that regard on the panels and in speaking, because I mean, during the conference, basically you and Elena were the hard questions went to you guys, and you did it easily. You're both contactees, and you'd be sorely missed, Alex, because you made some of the most difficult questions look absolutely easy. You breezed right through it like nothing. And so I, for one, you have my vote. Like I'll put that in. I would love to have you back, even in Zoom capacity. And see you next time.
Well, thank you. We'll probably have to work on Danny. So.
I'm just so joking. There's no way you're not coming back. There's just no way. You through the screen if I have to. You are too important. We respect the desire not to travel, but we're going to give your ass on those stages.
Never take anything for granted. Never. Tony, thank you. You're a good man, and my phone is always available to any of you if you just want to have a chin waggle. So
I think it's been a great thing that we've met and become friends like this, and we are keeping in touch and moving forward. I think that we may or may not have realized that we haven't even got to the good part yet. So I think as it progresses, now that we're working together like we are, I think that the sky's the limit or not.
You know, when you find a group like this where we can literally say anything to each other, we can literally bring up any bizarre topic and it's not out of bounds. You know, we can truly just be ourselves. And I know all of you who have been walking this path, there's a great deal of loneliness because you cannot share this part of your life with just anybody. In fact, you have to spend a lot of energy sometimes hiding it because you know the response you're going to get. And, you know, to find a group like this where I could just pick up the phone and you know, well, call somebody, whether it's Danny or Elena or Tony, Chris, you know, we still have to have some more chin waggles.
Yes.
You know, Jean Charles. I mean, you know, we're in North America. There's no reason we shouldn't be talking. And our favorite shaman, the exact same thing, except my Spanish is horrible. You know, just to share the same frequency is huge. It's huge. Even if we can't verbally communicate, you know, just be able to stand next to Quetzal. I didn't have to say anything. You know, you don't actually have to really talk with him because he feels your energy anyway. You know, he's just absorbing it, and his intuition is so great that he's reading you anyhow. So, I mean, you can't put a price on that. You just can't. And I'm already missing that. I'm already missing that. You know, because now we're back in our little worlds and some of us don't have that support group, you know. So.
Yeah, that you mentioned it, I look back at, I knew exactly what you're saying, like that we get along and we can understand each other. We get each other. And I didn't realize it until just now that it's been a very long time that I personally didn't have that we didn't have that, you know? And so that's kind of like part of the family thing is like, it's very easy. We get each other, you know? So that's where we're at. So I don't want to alienate the people that are viewing at all, but it's just that we crossed a real bridge here with this. So.
And I think Miss Danan should say something instead of being on mute.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you well, you know, this energy, this frequency that we all shared has proven to everyone that together, when we attune to each other and we work as one, we become so powerful in our work, and it has such an impact in the world. You know, the frequency we all met, and this high frequency, we all came back to our homes changed because we were all in a higher frequency. And I was, you know, I tell you something, I was thinking, oh my God, I can't manage to ground back again in my life. I can't. And Thorhan told me, my contact, he said, why would you want to? I went, right. He said, keep up going. That's the way to go. Why do you want to land? Keep on the vibration and move forward. And that's it. And that's when I realized, yes, that's what we are all. We just connected. And that's just the beginning, guys. Just the beginning.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, several years ago, when my life personally was really, you know, in shambles, my guides were just, you know, trying to get me to come to Hawaii, you know, go to Hawaii. And it just didn't sound practical. It didn't make any sense. I didn't have any reason to. But it got to the point where I didn't have a choice. but to make some change in my life. And I thought, well, if I have to rebuild life, I'm going to do it where I want to be. So I came to Kauai, and the message that they kept giving me was, if you come to Kauai, you will find your family. And I thought that they meant on the island, but that's not what they meant. What they meant was energetically, I'll be where I need to be in the life I need to be and doing what I need to do. And that will lead me to my family. And that is you guys. And that is everyone that came to the conference that was there in love and positivity and for the advancement of humanity. And so I feel fulfilled just having had the experience of meeting so many hundreds of people. And Tony, I don't know that I gave as many hugs away as you did, but I literally told Danny, I said, I never could have the concept of maybe I'm hugged out. I didn't think that was possible. But it was still a beautiful, joyful thing to feel hugged out. It's just like so great. And I'm just so grateful for the whole experience. And I haven't come down at all. I'm nowhere near the plane I was prior.
Don't come down. Why?
Yeah, I don't plan to.
Keep up going, and we'll drag everyone with us. We take everyone with us. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Elena, talking of coming down, let's not get too far into how you embarrassed the whole of science, propulsion, anti-gravity, physics, NASA, the European Space Agency, United Nations, and on and on and on. Let's not talk too much about how you handed them all their ass.
Yes, I disclosed some technologies that the government have been hiding, but I got from upstairs by the other way, and more. So I spoke about that, and I prepared my talk with the confirmation and the help of a French physicist, Chris Esson, who could confirm by science that everything I was saying it right, and it was working, and it was great. So I had it double checked by a French scientist. Dan Winter also had already double checked my stuff as well. But I mean, yes, that was quite a bit technical, but I had to give back this knowledge to the people.
You did us proud. You so did us proud. Now I'm going to say three things, the same thing 3 times, and I invite you, my friends, to join me. Akuria mate. Akuria mate.
Akuria mate.
Akuria.
Akuria mate.
Akuria mate.
Akuria mate. Akuria mate.
Akuria mate.
That's what happened.
Es como el vuelo del águila y el cóndor.
It is like the flight of the eagle and the condor.
El cóndor representa el corazón.
The condor represents the heart.
El águila representa la mente.
The eagle represents the mind.
Y nuestro caminar representa el jaguar.
And our own path is represented by the jaguar.
Estos 3 elementos,
Those 3 elements,
estos 3 espíritus de la naturaleza animal,
those 3 spirits of animal nature,
para los antiguos mayas, aztecas,
the ancient
Incas.
Maya, Aztec, Inca,
decían que cuando se unen las águilas y los cóndores,
that they said that when it comes together, when it unites the eagle and the condor,
iniciaba un nuevo camino de conciencia
a new path of consciousness and wisdom commences.
para que todos los que han participado en esta conferencia
And everyone who participated in this conference,
son un código,
they have a code. They are a code.
son una semilla dorada.
They're a golden seed.
Y cuando estas semillas se unifican,
And when this seed unifies,
entonces la conexión verdadera del ser
that connection of our true being
empieza el verdadero vuelo.
starts the true
Unidos
flight.
en una familia,
We're in a family.
ascendiendo,
We're united in a family, ascending,
ascendiendo,
ascending.
reencontrándonos y reconociéndonos.
We are finding one another and we're remembering one another.
Cada uno de ustedes, su sabiduría es muy importante
Every one of you, your wisdom is very important
porque somos el gran mandala
because we're a big mandala
que va a continuar.
that's going to continue.
Cuando yo vi a Alex llorar,
When I saw Alex cry,
yo lo que sentí, mi ser,
I felt within my being
era que estaba naciendo un nuevo bebé.
that he was birthing a new baby,
Era un nuevo bebé galáctico.
a galactic
Y
baby.
veía cómo de él se desprendía un ser, pero a la vez integraba una nueva fuerza.
He was giving birth to a new being and integrating a new force.
Y así como Elena, la fuerza y la energía que tiene,
And like Elena, the force that you have, the strength that you have,
Tony, bueno, todos ustedes,
Tony, everybody,
somos este código, este gran mandala para darle activación a la continuación.
we're the big mandala that's activating the continuation
Porque ya se abrió la puerta.
because it's already open now, the portal.
Ahora solo hay que relajar y aceptar el presente.
And so we can relax and accept the present.
Akuriamate.
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 Kuriamate.
Akuriamate.
Akuriamate.
This will become one of the greatest mantras of our time, Akuriamate. And very briefly, to those that don't know, there was a sound that these beautiful Mexican military were singing inside of one of the space arcs. And JP, who's Dr. Michael Sala's contact, that gives him real intel that helps us all link up together the reality of our planet. These beautiful men were singing Akuria Mate, and then Dr. Michael Sala had the chance to ask Quetzal, what does this mean? And Quetzal advised him it is the opening of the portal, not just above the heavens, but below also. Does anybody else want to talk about the room? I had out-of-body experiences when we were doing the activation. Can anybody else share? Because I actually wasn't in my body. I don't remember most of it.
I just want to say that I wasn't in my body for most of my presentation because I came right after the activation that Quetzal did. I was at the back of the room, seeing all the slides and hearing his powerful statement and everyone chanting, and something like enormous happened with my heart chakra. And so I was so overwhelmed by the time I got up on the stage, and I could barely catch my breath. There was a lot of emotion. And so it was a big moment. It was a huge activation that happened. And I know I was feeling the energy big time. I think we all were.
And as we were all standing up, hands above to the sky and chanting Akuria Mate with Quetzal, I received a vision, and I was shown something opening in the sky, the light coming in, and a consciousness sliding down above the sleeping being, beautiful giant that is somewhere under Florida. We found the name Ningishzida, Quetzalcoatl, and I saw him opening his magnificent blue eyes, and I was shown that the process has started of his awakening, because we all did it. Because we were 1,000 people doing that together, and it really worked. And when we spoke together with Quetzal, Asha, and Michael Sala in the back room after that, Quetzal said, the process has started. Quetzalcoatl is awakening. And it was like, wow, wow. Putting all together, you know, the information that JP brought from his missions and under Florida, meeting the ant people and being shown this sleeping giant, guardian of a tree of life. And the information, complementary information I got from Thorhan, the name and who he was, and Quetzal doing all the work of opening the portal and awakening him and welcoming him back, because the time is now. It's about time. So it's all, we all had a piece of the puzzle that was put together to understand what happened. And I have deepest respect for Quetzal to have been the catalyst. Aho!
Oh, mucho amor, ¿no? Es big love.
Lots of love.
América, Florida, abierto mi corazón.
It opened my heart, America, Florida.
Todo el tiempo, por muchos años he trabajado en Europa.
For many years, I traveled in Europe.
Activando códigos celtas en puntos como Karnak.
Activating Celtic points like in Karnak.
Y bueno, muchos lugares, ¿no? Que me ha tocado estar en París, ¿no? Que también es una ciudad muy importante.
Many different places. The portal in Paris is
mucha
very
geometría
important.
sagrada.
Many sacred
La Antártida.
Antarctica.
He tenido fortuna de estar en esos puntos.
He had the good fortune to be in those places.
Todo lo que está sucediendo en este momento
and everything that you're saying in this moment
es una apertura
is an opening like
de este ser que va a despertar.
of this being that is waking up.
Quetzalcóatl es una frecuencia
It's a frequency
de activación.
of activation.
Acuria Mate representa el portal dimensional.
It represents a dimensional portal.
Entonces, a través de este trabajo que estamos realizando,
Through this work that we've realized,
se ha abierto el portal dimensional del gigante.
a portal has opened, a dimensional portal has opened of the giant.
Pero hay dos tipos de frecuencia, ¿no?
But there are two types of frequency.
Recordemos que estamos en una guerra espiritual a nivel mundial.
Remember that we're in a spiritual war, a world war.
Y que también esa parte de la oscuridad quiere despertar.
And also this part, the darkness wants to awaken.
Y nuestro trabajo es que eso no suceda.
Our work is to,
Sino es activar el portal solar para que la frecuencia negativa que quiere despertar no se active.
so our job is to activate the dimensional portal and the frequency of that so that this dark energy, this dark frequency doesn't awaken.
Por eso es que en este momento la guerra que está activa,
So this war in this moment that's activated,
en este lugar hay códigos importantes,
in this place there are important
como en
codes,
Afganistán
like in
y
Afghanistan
otros puntos.
and other places.
Pero no todo es de color de rosa.
Not everything is rosy.
Por eso es que tenemos que activar esta energía con nuestro corazón,
And because of that, we have to activate this energy with our hearts.
porque la manifestación de las naves cada vez será más intensa. los avistamientos.
Because the energy, the activation of the ships is going to become more intense.
Y por eso tenemos que protegernos.
So we need to protect ourselves.
Por eso tenemos que estar alerta
We need to be alert
de que en otros planos hay una guerra también.
that in other planes there's also a war going on.
Recordemos todo lo que ha pasado a través de la pandemia, toda la programación que se ha tratado de programar
Remember everything that's happened, the programming that happened during
para
COVID, the pandemic.
detener la evolución y despertar la contraparte.
We need to evolve and awaken the other parts.
Que no va a despertar, porque no le corresponde a Inglaterra. El nuevo gobierno espiritual
hasn't awakened yet. It hadn't awakened yet because it didn't have its correspondence on the earth.
porque estamos activando el nuevo gobierno espiritual.
But we are activating a new government spiritually.
Ese cambio de frecuencia
This change of frequency
es la nueva programación.
is the new program.
Y cada uno de ustedes es responsable
And every one of you is responsible
con su trabajo para activar la continuación de los códigos.
with your work to activate the continuation of the codes.
Porque somos la tribu del sol.
Because we are the tribe of the sun.
¡Ajo!
Aho!
I have something to share with you, my friend. When the conference was over, we walked outside, and I remember when I hugged my dear friend Alex, I saw two beings very bright in a shoulder, right and left shoulder behind you, my friend. And I was very impressed because it's like protection, and I feel something very, very strong, galactic around you. And when you are on the stage, the first I think, oh, it's a spotlight. But when I saw the beings outside, I remember it's not the effect of light. It was the beings protect you. It was very important for me to share this information with you, Alex.
Thank you, Jean.
And I'm very, very happy to see you again today. And I want to tell you my grateful for all of you. Tony, we know a lot of information. We discovered there is a few days, and Chris, we have a link together, a strong link, and the beings we met is the same I met when I was young, the light beings. And my next movie, I just finished the half of my movie, Voucher 2. I want to ask you the permission because I want to include all of you in my new movie. I have an idea the where I can include you in my movie. I am a special effects maker, so I know. So I want you're okay to be in my next movie. So are you agree with that?
Très bien.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll have my agent send you a fax. I'm kidding.
People.
Absolutely, of course, Jean-Charles, as if you don't have to ask me.
No,
Yeah.
nor me. You can use anything of mine that you want, wherever it is. There's no copyrights on it.
Gets it too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's gone back to sleep. No, I'm kidding.
No, pues
I lost.
será un placer, ¿no? Contar la nueva historia.
You know, it's been a pleasure to tell this new story.
Somos la continuación
We're the continuation. Yes.
y nosotros trabajamos para nuestras 7 generaciones,
We're working for the next 7 generations,
para los que vienen atrás de nosotros.
the ones that come behind us.
Y por eso es que es importante cambiar la historia, no solamente de América, sino es Europa, es todo el planeta.
It's important to change the story that's going on, not just for America, but for Europe and for the whole world.
Es un
Yeah.
momento
Yeah.
de fusión total de todas las religiones, de todas las culturas.
It's a moment of fusion of all of the religion, all of the cultures,
Y despertar el extraterrestre interno que llevamos dentro.
and the awakening of our inner extraterrestrial.
Ya el tiempo de creer,
It's a time to believe,
el tiempo de dudar,
time to Buddha,
de cuestionar,
to question, to doubt.
ya no existe. Es el momento de la acción.
It's doubts don't exist anymore. It's a moment of action.
Ustedes vieron cuando, bueno, no sé si vieron, pero cuando se estaba recibiendo la benedicción, que eran 2 minutos por persona.
When the people were receiving the blessings, it was only 2 minutes per person.
Y la gente le pasó de todo. Con 2 minutos les tocaba la frente y les pasaba todo.
In these 2 minutes, when people came up to the front, everything happened. There were huge experiences.
Pero obviamente eran las naves que estaban trabajando.
But obviously, it was the ships working.
Y todos,
through him.
todos ustedes, comandantes galácticos.
And all of you, galactic commanders.
¿No?
And just to add to that, because I was beside Ketsa for most of that time when he was giving blessings to, it must have been a couple hundred people. There were just lineups and lineups and lineups. And I was just in awe of the energy coming through him. I'd never seen anything like that before with Ketsa Shah, just how much love and how much intensity was focused on each person as they came forward, and the reactions, you know, the tears of joy, the energetic movements, the releases. And he was like so busy bringing in all of this new energy, you know, from above and pulling out, you know, entities and cutting cords and, you know, doing all the stuff that he does. But it was just really such a powerful experience. And so many people have commented and reached out to Ketsa after that to say thank you. It was one of the most important experiences they've ever had, to really feel the energy. It's not theory anymore. It's not, you know, on the level of information, but it was on the level of experience. And I just felt that was so important. And yeah, a lot of hearts were touched by everyone. You know, everyone was doing their part. Everyone was doing their work. And Dani was like, she was born for this moment, you know, all the talent she brought to the fore. And yeah, it brought out the best in everyone.
Nuestra Madonna Galáctica.
Oh, our galactic fairy godmother, we call
Me
Dani.
encantó cuando cantaste como Madonna.
He loves it when you sing like Madonna.
Funny. I wrote small things and sing like a virgin. Elena, can I please?
You didn't just
Yes.
say that, did you?
I don't know how to edit it either. It just kind of fell out.
Perfecto.
Your dancing was perfect.
Glad to hear that. It was just the energy moved me, every core, every cell in my body. It was just so beautiful. You couldn't not be touched by the love in the room. There were people getting out of their wheelchairs. There were people just full. Their souls were shining through their eyes for all of us and for them and for everybody around them. It was just the most beautiful thing. The biggest thing I've ever been a part of in my whole life, I would say, most definitely. I don't want to skip on past the fact that we were talking about a beautiful giant, a literal legendary giant that is awakening underneath Florida, that most people never realize, certainly not planning a conference around Florida, but there are always reasons why we are divinely guided. Now, I don't want to miss out on some of the very important names attached with this waking giant, this legend. So who would like to share the other names, please, of the giants?
Well, Nindish Zida, one of the scientists of Enki who came from Atlantis to put safe a certain knowledge under in the Americas. He bear also the name of Viracocha, Kukulkan, and he's known on the other side of the Atlantic as Jehuti, otherwise named Thought. So that's what I can share. Quetzal probably knows more.
Bueno, como les comenté hace un momento, en diferentes puntos, en el polo norte, en el polo sur,
Like you were just saying, in different points in the North Pole and the South Pole,
hay códigos muy importantes.
they're very important codes there.
Para mí, los glaciares
For me, the glaciers
es donde está el vacío de la mente de la Tierra.
is where it is the empty mind of the planet.
Los glaciares representan el punto cero,
The glaciers represent 0 point,
donde no hay una mente,
where there's no mind.
porque esa mente es el ser gigante, o sea, es un ser, son 13 cielos, 13 seres.
So this giant is a being of 13 zeros, 13 and 13 minds.
Que son 13 coronas.
13 crowns.
Y cada corona representa un gigante.
And every crown represents a giant.
Representa un padre de la codificación ancestral.
Each one represents the father of the codifications of the ancestors.
Que es el que alimenta parte de nuestro ADN.
And it is nurturing a part of our DNA.
Son 13 códigos.
There's 13 codes.
Que se llaman los 13 cielos.
That they call the 13 heavens.
Y cada cielo tiene un lenguaje.
And every heaven has a language.
Y ese es el nombre de ese ser, de esa corona, de ese gigante.
And this is the name of this being, this particular crown.
La forma de entender que es un gigante.
The way to understand this giant.
Existe, son los padres.
Existe amongst the fathers.
Son los abuelos.
The grandfathers.
Son los abuelos que han sostenido la codificación.
They're the grandfathers that have sustained this codification, these codes.
De las diferentes tribus
from the different tribes
que vinieron a la tierra
that came to earth
a dejar el código,
and left their code,
a dejar la semilla dorada
that left the golden seed,
que cuando despertara
and when it awakens,
cambiaría toda la programación de este sistema solar.
it changes all of the programming in the solar system.
Por eso, hablar del retorno de Quetzalcóatl
For this, we talk of the return of Quetzalcoatl.
no es por fanatismo,
It's not a fantasy or a ghost, or yeah.
sino porque dejó una señal
Because it left a sign. It's a sign
en la pirámide,
in the pyramid,
donde equinoccio y solsticio
in the equinoxes and solstices.
desciende la energía de luz y de sombra.
Descends the energy of light and shadow down the pyramid.
Y también en el agua, en cenotes,
And also in the waters in the cenotes.
también en el cenit,
And also in the,
en el cenit solar,
okay,
se activa esas codificaciones.
they're also activating these codes.
Entonces, no es que estamos alucinando, sino que hay algo real, físico,
So we're not hallucinating, something real and physical.
y que han pasado cientos y cientos de años
After hundreds and hundreds of years,
y el fenómeno no se ha movido.
this phenomena hasn't moved of the descending energy.
Entonces, ese es el llamado de Quetzalcóatl.
This is the call of Quetzalcoatl.
Ese es el llamado de la tribu del sol
It's the call of the tribe of the sun
para que se vaya activando y moviendo
to be activating and moving
Isla de Pascua,
peace.
Isla de Pascua en Chile,
Oh, the Pascua in Chile is a place.
que es
in
muy
Chile.
importante ese punto.
It's a very important point.
Los gigantes
The giants
de la Isla de Pascua
from the island of Pascua
son la clave
have the key
que mueven Sudamérica,
that moves all of South America,
que mueven al gigante de Sudamérica.
that moves the giant of South America.
Y Florida ha activado el gigante, o sea, la frecuencia de Quetzalcóatl va a activar el norte de América.
And in Florida, the frequency of Quetzalcoatl activated North America.
Entonces tenemos los dos puntos.
So we have the 2 points.
Isla de Pascua
Island of Pascua
y Florida.
and Florida.
Espíritu gigante
For this, the spirit of this giant being
comience a dar las semillas del conocimiento.
that can, it's that, so that it can begin to give the seeds of wisdom.
Ajo.
Oh.
Oh, beautiful. You guys can see this. I wrote down Thoth here is one of the names of the giants. We don't want to miss that. There's a lot of feedback. Elena, please speak.
Yes, I would like to follow by this. The 13 heavens that Quetzal mentions, I believe refer as well to the 13th density, 12 plus 1, which is the consciousness of source of this universe, this dimension. Each density of matter, of existence, are an octave in the frequencies of the big keyboard of this universe. And when Quetzal says each heaven has its own language, of course, each density, each of the 13 density are on a specific octave of frequencies on the scale. And the frequencies, the octave of frequency will generate a language at the level of the consciousness. These language are frequencies that carry information and codes, bundles of information, exactly like the hieroglyphs we see in the temples of South America. They are squares, but they contain a story. It's bundles. And that's what these frequencies carry. Every bundle carry image, story, sound, data. They can be infinite, like vortex each. So I want to comment, follow up on this.
Elena, did you remember when we were together in Antarctica, when we were in the center of the ark? I remember there is beings, blue, purple beings in the tube, and the form was like a stars, and there was 7. And I watched yesterday the interview with you, Alex, and GP and Michael, and you describe the same number of 7 yes, exactly. Oh, yes. And I remember there is a crystal inside with a lot of inscription and write. And when I saw the drawing in the video with like a hieroglyph, and there is a giant sleeping, there is something attract my eyes, because I have, you know, it's like the same thing, you know. It's a sphere with a ring, and it was the same drawing inside the ark he described. So the 7 number is very important in the Bible and a lot of historical book. And do you have information about that, Ketcha, about the 7 number with the beings inside like a stars?
¿Qué pasó?
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me just translate.
Yes.
Okay. Quetzal, I wanted to say to you that one of the most powerful things that you did at that conference was that you reminded everyone of their connection to the Great Spirit. In the universe, when we are present with ourselves, we can always feel the Great Spirit, Source. And we see it everywhere, in stars, planets, quasars, even black holes. We see Source, we experience Source. Sometimes when you come into a third density proving grounds like Earth, you forget, you lose that connection to Source. And the miraculous thing is that the indigenous people have always maintained that Source, that connection. And for those that listen, for those that are open to it, you always bring that back to people. And when they leave your presence, they remember their connection to Great Spirit. And they see nature again. They feel nature again. And you did that. You did that. And that's why you had such a profound effect on people, because you brought back that memory for them. You know, it's not about the church. Nature is the church. You know, the cathedral is the sky. And you remember, you brought that memory back to a lot of people in Florida, and I applaud you for that. You know, capish mielo, my brother.
He feels the frequency of it, but él está diciendo que la cosa más importante y poderoso que tú hiciste es recordar a la gente, estar presente con su ser dentro, con su espíritu y conectar. Y la gente indígena está muy... Recordamos eso siempre, tú recordamos todos y en la plaza.
Oh,
Oh, Brad, nice to see you, brother.
Hey guys, all my
Hey, Brad.
favorite peoples.
Brad.
hello.
Hola.
Hola.
Hello.
Just on the subject of Antarctica, I'm just reading a very new article that came out about an enormous river that has been discovered there, 300 miles long, and it empties an area the size of France and Germany. So what we're learning about Antarctica just continues to dazzle and amaze. I know you guys call me the Indiana Jones. Well, I'm really from Illinois, so I guess I should be Illinois Jones. But I'll take a compliment, right? We're always supposed to take a compliment. So just to say that if this arc under the ice, if it is indeed melting, it may be triggering this river and other rivers to flow and a whole lake system. So many lakes. They call it the Lake District when they found them using radar sonar scanning, and talked a little bit about this in my presentation in Orlando. But what I would like to say to you guys is that this arc under the ice near Vostok, this could really precipitate disclosure on a worldwide basis, that it's something that could be so big that it would just be undeniable to the rest of the world once this information gets out. And it's warming up down there, so this thing could happen.
I love it. So exciting. I said the other day, I said, keep your eyes on Antarctica. And then with Elena, Dr. Salah, Jean-Charles, and you all referring to Lake Vostok. And now what are we doing? Now we're all focusing on Antarctica again. It's so flipping exciting. I can't even stand it. It's brilliant. What was
Vostok
your
and all other place of Vostok, Tibet, the Kailash Mount, and the Egypt under the Sphinx with my dear sister Elena.
Yeah, we with Jean-Charles we meet in places. That's what are you doing here?
We travel together, free.
You met
no
Thoran,
problem.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yes, it's funny.
Can you take
so,
A +1?
Could I just make a quick correction? I'm realizing now I made a mistake in translating something that Ketsa said that's really important, because when he was talking about the being in South America that was activated in these 2 points in North and South America, he was talking about Easter Island. So that didn't quite come across. I was saying the island of Pascua, but the island of Pascua is Easter Island. So I feel like that's significant. Thank you.
Very much so.
I have a question for Quetzal. Do you think that the statues of the giants on the Easter Island represent all the giants buried on the whole planet? That each of these statues are an activation key, a frequency linked to them? I'm asking the question, do you think?
En la isla de Pascua, todos los gigantes allí, ¿piensas que representen una frecuencia, un código para todos los gigantes en la planeta?
Of course, podría ser.
Yes, of course it could be.
Hay una tabla.
There's a tablet.
Con unos símbolos, y en una cueva.
In a cave, there's a tablet with various symbols.
Y bueno, es que el movimiento de estas piedras a través del tiempo,
the movement of these rocks through time,
son las que marcan el magnetismo.
They mark a magnetism
de cómo se está moviendo el sistema.
Of how the whole system is moving.
Haz de cuenta que es la antena parabólica de América.
They're like the antenna for all of America.
Recordemos que Europa tiene sus antenas.
Remember, Europe has
Asia,
Asia.
Pero hablando de América, esa es una antena que activa, ¿no? Activa todas las demás.
But when we speak of America, this is the antenna that activates more of them.
Jesus.
Thank you. Incredible.
Powerful. God, you guys, we've been going for almost 2 hours since we first got on together and connected. I just wanted to bring something into the fray here for the public that will see this broadcast, because There were so many bombs dropped, so many disclosure bombs, unbelievable. One of the biggest ones I really felt came from Chris O'Connor. Chris, would you please share with us the beautiful explosive bomb that you dropped on the moon in Saturn, please, my love?
Oh, absolutely. I shared with everyone that the moon Mimas, it's Mimas, on Saturn is actually a space station. It's a natural body that developed around Saturn as moons do, but it was modified and has been being modified for millennia, a very, very long time. And that's actually part of the Confederation of Planets, which is the name I recall. And it has several names in several locations throughout our solar system. But that was where I actually spent about 40 years off and on. Most of the time in stasis, which, I had to explain to everyone is, because of the psychic and telepathic job I was doing, I was basically a security risk. So I had to be, in stasis a lot of times so that no external forces, meaning a ship going by that, that could be quite far away that could connect and take information out. So I had to be in a stasis place. So I was there for 40 years, working with many, many races and working, negotiating contracts and helping, kind of, make things right when things went wrong, with other dark forces and dark, fleets from the human race. Because when we're looked at as a race, even though we're split as humans and we're off planet on well over 100 different planets, every single thing that those humans do all comes collectively back to the human race. So we are responsible as a race for everyone else within our race. And so we had to take that ambassadorial role. And when maybe an offshoot of, humans would be on another planet and did something it wasn't good, we had to basically, make it right, and so that was my job. And that was on the planet or the moon Mimas on Saturn.
Absolutely mind-blowing. Can you please explain a little bit about what happens to Mimas as it goes into different densities, mainly up to 8, please?
Right. Mimas is basically, if we're looking at it, it looks a lot like our moon. If you look it up on the internet, you can also search it as I wish I went totally blank, the Death Star moon, because it has a huge impact crater on it. And so it was discovered 3 years after the original Star Wars movie came out. So it was natural that you would call it the Death Star. It looks like the Death Star. But interestingly, and that's in our third density where we can see, rock and stone and dust and dirt. But in the 8th density, that material is actually metal. So it looks quite a bit like the Death Star. So I think it's meant to be an ironic thing that that is called the Death Star moon. And we created a film, based on information that had to have been channeled, because that's a lot of what it looks like. It's just that when you enter other densities, material changes. And in the 8th density, what we see as rock is actually metal. So it's a fully metal space station.
Brilliant.
I heard in the information there is a few years they explode a bomb and the echo was heard a few days, like a cloche. Comment on dit une cloche, Elena?
A bell.
A bell, like a bell.
I'm his official translator.
A lot of days, the sound in the NASA computer and analyze the sound. So it was deep inside, and they can, when they comment on dit creuser? when they
To
dig,
dig,
you know,
when they
when they
dug.
dig inside, there is a rock, and after that there is a metal inside, like a egg, you know. So yes, it's artificial. And when I was young, I was teleporting to the moon, and I describe when I was 6 or 7 years. It's a long time. I described something inside a structure inside the moon. So it's very interesting. Everything you say, it's corroborate a few decades after that. So thank you very much for this information, my friend.
All right, I'm just looking at your beautiful faces. I just want to again tell you how much I love you all, how grateful I am that you all stood on stage together, shoulder to shoulder, bringing truth for our brothers and our sisters. I could cry all over again now. I cannot stop crying. I'm a wreck. Tony and I were texting earlier, and I'm like, oh my God, me and Elena were on the phone bawling yesterday, and you said, you two need to stop crying. And you left a big gap. You went, because I'm going to start crying. It was just
Contagious.
Oh, just an outpouring of the biggest love ever. It was just so beautiful. So I'm just going to offer up the room again for each of you just to say your closing words, please, to each other and to our beautiful audience out there.
I'll say something. I think the best is yet to come. I think we're just getting
Oh,
warmed
yeah.
up. We're just getting warmed up here, guys.
The best is yet to come. I have something to tell you, very important. Melanie, tell me, hug everyone, because she's not here, and hug everyone for me. She love you. Okay, it's important. And I love you too. Thank you.
Love you, Melanie. Love you, Jean-Charles. So beautiful. Love you, Merlin.
Oh, Merlin. I want to say my last words by mentioning, in fact, Tony Rodriguez's words that I mentioned earlier on, that for me are extremely powerful, meaningful, very deep, and that really says everything about what happened in Orlando. We didn't know how powerful we were until we all met.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the power of human. When we all come together, that's what it does. And nobody is going to stop that. It has started. And the fun is ahead.
Yes.
Yes, and I think, first of all, I'm going to say, you know, I love all of you. I truly do. And I am so, so grateful to be here and be a part of this. But I also wanted people that watch this video not to feel that we're separating ourselves from anyone, because we're not. You know, we're just your mouthpiece, because each of us talk to a lot of people, and we work with a lot of people, and we're doing our best to represent the people. You know, and we're just a small fraction, you know, but we're here to help and show you guys support and love, because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for every single person that watches these videos and that comes out and shares their story. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
I think meeting everybody face to face was such an incredible treat, because I've followed many of you, watched your movies, read your books, met a few of you in other conferences, but to bring us all together, boy, was that a powerful experience. And to have Elena as the first conference she spoke at and Alex as his last, it was the alpha to the omega. It really brought everything together from the beginning to the end. And I think we're going to look back on this conference and we're really going to see that we did make history, because disclosure is going to change the course of civilization on this planet. And when people look back at this time and say, maybe they'll take it for granted that all this that is being revealed is now common knowledge, but they're going to say, who is thinking about this? Who is bringing this to the fore? Who is sticking their neck out to bring this information to the people? And I'm proud to say I'm looking at all your wonderful faces right now on this telescreen. And thank you for allowing me to come in late. I had a previous interview I had to do, but so glad to jump in and see all you guys. It was just such an amazing week in Orlando, and really hope we can all get together sometime again and do it again. Best conference ever.
Beautiful. Thank you, Brad.
Las últimas palabras.
Quiero simplemente dar las gracias
I simply want to say thank you, give thanks,
y recordar que pues mientras estemos vibrando en amor
and to remember that we're vibrating in love,
y estemos vibrando en paz,
we're vibrating in peace.
nuestro camino continuará
Our path continues
a realizar el objetivo,
to realize our objective,
que es un mejor planeta para nuestros hijos.
to make a better planet for our children.
No somos los responsables de este planeta,
We're responsible for this planet,
pero sí de nuestro crecimiento y de nuestro trabajo interno.
but through our inner work, our internal work,
Solo quiero darle las gracias a todos ustedes.
I just want to say thank you to all of you,
Nos vemos.
and we'll see you.
Que la fiesta continúe.
Party continue.
Ajo.
Oh,
Aho.
Akuria mate.
Akuria.
Akuria mate.
Akuria mate.
And for my part, I'd just like to add that I said earlier that I felt like we were on a fast moving train and moving toward a destination. It feels like this train is the journey of ascension, the journey of awakening, and something very powerful happened at this conference. Something very powerful was activated within all of us, but it's bigger than us. It is reverberating out into the rest of the world, I feel. And it feels like our journey of activation is accelerating as a result of this weekend that we shared. So thank you, Danny, and everyone involved.
Is that everybody?
Tony, you wanna button up and I'll go next?
It's so emotional.
Okay.
I don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave you. It's very difficult because remember when I spoke to my sister Elena, and we spoke a lot of every day, and we say, "Oh my God, it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult because we met a beings like us, a family, a starseed family, or it's very hard to live." And you know what I mean. I love you too, everyone here.
Alex, it's you.
Hey. You know, we all talk about disclosure, but in truth, what we're doing is we're reintroducing everyone to the history of the human race. Many will remember on very different levels, but you know, Brad's right when he says that it's going to change civilization, because we're going to realize, humanity's going to realize that it has multiple connections to the stars. And that will, of course, obviously change the way we perceive ourselves. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, the biggest gift that humanity will get, is the ability to see its greatness for what it is, and to realize that that history, that knowledge was hidden from all of us. And when that is reintroduced, when all that history is brought back, the genie will forever be out of the bottle. There'll be no putting it back in the bottle. And humanity will in fact change. And the exciting thing for me is to see future generations ready to do the Star Trek thing. They're going to want to do the Star Trek thing. They're going to want to explore and to know what's out there and to taste it and to feel it and to appreciate it, and then bring back home that knowledge and share it with those of us on Earth. And what's really interesting is that we're going to meet very, very technologically advanced races who very much practice the indigenous ways of spirituality. They have all this incredible tech, but their relationship with spirit, their relationship with their home worlds is the indigenous way. They keep it real simple, and they're grateful for it every single day. And there's always gratitude. And right now, for a lot of people, it's going to be very hard for them to put those two things together. A very simple spiritual path or belief system, keeping it simple, seeing great spirit creator in all things. And at the same time, here they are flying around in these 10,000 mile starships. It's going to be a lot of fun. It really, really is. And, there is so much suppressed knowledge of our past that's still on the planet that needs to be transcribed, especially the Arabic texts that no one is talking about, no one wants to talk about, because of the Catholicism of both Christianity, Islam, and even the Hebrew, how they've kind of monopolized this position. And all of that needs a very serious clarification. It really, really does. So to everyone out there, look, just keep breathing. We're going to go through a lot of change. Everything is accelerating very, very quickly. Just keep breathing. Do whatever you can to stay grounded, so that you can seat your energy grounded in the earth as all this energy and all these changes start to come. It will all make sense to everyone at different times, but there is no stopping what's coming. There really isn't. It's here. Okay, it's here. Danny, thank you. All of you, you're the best of the best. And it has been an honor and a privilege to not only share the stage and a weekend with you, but to actually call you friends. Thank you.
Oh, we love you, Alex. We love you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to be this person. For me, you are like a god.
I don't see that. But I wanted to be someone else, but they were all taken. So, so last but not least, Mr. Rodriguez.
No, I was just saying that I think the best is yet to come. I think that this was only the beginning for all of us. Alex, you are hanging up the live performances, but you passed the baton on to us with it absolutely on fire. And I think this is the beginning of a lot of great things that are going to happen. And without trying to over promise and under deliver, I'll just shut my mouth and everybody, and tell everybody out there watching to stay tuned, because we're just getting warmed up with this. There are big things coming.
There you go.
Yes.
The future is very bright.
Yes, it is.
Aho. Aho.
Aho.
Aho.
Is that
I hope to see you in Mexico in February.
Okay.
somebody's going to have to translate that.
Coming to Mexico. How's that?
I'm hoping to see him in Mexico in February.
Oh,
Chichen Itza.
será un placer,
It'll be a pleasure.
será un placer poder caminar nuevamente con ustedes.
It's a pleasure really to walk with all of you.
No, mirarnos como águilas
We see ourselves, we're like eagles,
y abrazarnos como osos
and we hug like bears.
para
Great analogy.
sentir al colibrí,
To feel the
sentir al colibrí, no sé cómo se dice en español.
I don't know. I think it's kind of a bird. Maybe he feels a bird.
Colibri. Yeah.
Colibrí que es
Oh,
Is it a turkey?
No, it's
no,
it's a tiny bird that flies like a
Turkey.
oh, a hummingbird.
hummingbird.
Okay.
Hummingbird.
green,
It's green and really small. I
que
think
es
a
love,
hummingbird.
love, 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 love,
They
love,
just
love.
love, 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 love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did everybody get to say final words? Brad, did you go? I've lost complete because this was just like another conference. This was like a literal mini conference, was it not?
It was, and I did go, and yeah, we all said beautiful things, and this is going to be a moment in history that people are going to look back and say, who was really paying attention? Who really wanted to see this unity with our space brothers and sisters? Who is bringing forth this information? And I'm looking at all your faces right now. And I just talk about Antarctica at the conference, but it goes way, way, way deeper than that. And you guys are setting the trend here. This is the zeitgeist of the age, and we're the ones who are bringing forth really important information that people need to wrap their head around, because this is the future. This is future humanity right here. 1.0, we're taking off.
Perfect, perfect. Well, my love to all of you here in the screen, my beautiful friends. So proud to walk this journey with you. So proud of everything that you've done and delivered. To you out there, we will be creating Orlando again in 2023. It'll be October 20, 21 and 22 in 2023. Can't wait to see you there. We'll let you know when you can get tickets. Between now and then, please go over to Sherry Divband's channel on the 10th, which is the 10th right now. He's going to be working with Tony Rodriguez. They're doing the fundraiser for the children. Now, by the time this comes out, because I don't want to compete, we're going to let you guys have so there's no, everyone's over on your channel, check Sherry. But when people see this tomorrow, they can still go over, watch the broadcast and still donate. That's what we want. That's what we want. Support the children, support Sherry Divband and everybody else. Well, I love you all on screen. My love to you all off screen. My name is Dani Henderson, and I will see you. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Kuria mate.
Kuria
Kuria mate.
Mate.
Good night.